Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Korman Productions, and as you might have gathered, this video is talking about Kevin Pearson of the show This Is Us. Before I go any further, I would ask you, if you like my content, to subscribe to my channel. This video is specifically concerning Kevin's behavior in the most recent episode, The Ride, in which Kevin, to put it mildly, was pretty irritable. At first towards a fan, and then towards a member of the paparazzi, who, in my mind, actually deserved it. I chalked this behavior up to basically being about exhaustion, because he more than likely hadn't slept in 4 days, if not more, as well as the stress of being a new parent. But after some thought, I wondered if perhaps Kevin's behavior might have a deeper explanation. Towards that end, I have two theories that might explain some of Kevin's behavior that goes beyond simple exhaustion. Now, I have long maintained that Kevin has the symptoms of codependency. Codependency being defined as excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner, typically one who requires support on account of an illness or addiction, such as alcohol abuse. At the beginning of the series, it was clear that Kevin and Kate enjoyed a very codependent relationship, one that both have since grown beyond. Codependents can become the way they are as a result of trauma, which I think the death of their father and the way that happened is definitely qualifies as a traumatic enough event to possibly lead to codependency. Codependents will put on a mask to make themselves acceptable to the world. For instance, I consider myself to be codependent because the symptoms of codependency read very much like Dave Korman's psychology. I have made progress on this front. How much is debatable. But when I was in a bad mood, I would do everything I could to pretend like I wasn't. When I'm angry or impatient, I hide those things, or at least did, to perhaps avoid being seen as a bad person. Nowadays, I don't have as much energy to maintain that mask. If I'm in a bad mood, I act like I'm in a bad mood. If I'm irritable, I act irritable. Part of this is because I've gotten older and simply just don't have the energy to maintain that mask. And on the other hand, I've also improved on these fronts. Bringing this back to Kevin, I'm wondering if perhaps this is what attracted him to acting in the first place. He essentially put on a mask as a career, as a way to make money. It was a way to not be himself, and not to deal with himself and the pain of losing his father in the manner that he did, with the guilt for how the relationship ended on bad terms and not being there the night of the fire. He's made progress on those fronts in dealing with the pain and hiding who he truly is, but I still maintain that he has a lot more work to do, and that perhaps he still maintains the mask. But exhaustion from 4 or 5 days of not sleeping, from the new stresses of being a parent, perhaps that led to the mask slipping and revealing the angry person underneath. His father was definitely a hothead, as also demonstrated during the course of the ride. And Kevin is very much like Jack and aspires to be. He aspires to be the man he thought Jack was. He inherited his alcoholism. Perhaps he also inherited Jack's hot-headed nature that Kevin hides under the mask along with the pain. With his energy reserves gone, he no longer had the ability to hide it, causing him to act up against the fan, though he knows that his behavior there is a little over the top. Less so when he confronts the paparazzi. My other theory in regards to Kevin's behavior is the fact that they say that having your first child, in this case children, as far as Kevin is concerned, changes you. And I can attest from personal experience that it does indeed change you. But not necessarily in the way that you would think, and not necessarily in the way they say. Part of the reason why nowadays I feel it harder to hide the fact of my irritation or my anger or my impatience is because I have gotten older, and yes, because I have improved as a person, but also because I became a father. Starting from the time that Julia was a baby, when anybody would approach me, a stranger that I did not know, and my kid, I would be very standoffish towards them. My entire being would basically be flashing, "Go away." My entire presence spoke, "Get away from me." Fatherhood created in me tribalistic, protective instincts. I perceived anybody that I did not know as a potential threat, whether I was aware of that or not. This isn't so much the case when I am alone without her, but definitely the case when I do have her. Perhaps this is true of Kevin as well. Perhaps his new behavior isn't just because of exhaustion, but protective instincts, protecting his tribe, which is his wife and his kids, or his wife-to-be, rather. This doesn't necessarily concern the fan at the beginning of the episode, but it definitely applies to the paparazzi that Kevin stops his car and goes out to confront, doing his Liam Neeson impression, as Madison suggested. The paparazzi was a potential threat to his wife-to-be, to his kids, and so he acted out of tribalism and protective instincts. Or it could simply come down to a matter of pure exhaustion, which was my original take when I was talking about the episode. Anyway, I would like to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think my theories have merit? Or do you have a different take on the matter? Either way, leave a comment on the video and let me know. I'd be very interested in hearing what you guys have to say. If you like this video and my content in general and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join my 2 Facebook groups, the Korman Productions page, as well as the This Is Us discussion page. You can buy something from the Korman Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a coffee, which is a new way to support content creators such as myself. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribing to my channel. This is Dave from Korman Productions, signing off.